Alright, it is burned in. Another incident-free day of welding.
Okay. Good morning.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Riggs Garage. Today we're going to look at the D15B7 Turbo Civic. Now this is the D Series Civic. If you haven't seen my other videos, check out those as I build the turbo short block for the D Series and all the other things. But in today's episode, we're going to get a first start, which is extremely exciting. Also, I want to show you kind of the things that I haven't updated you on. So this episode is going to cover the manifold, the downpipe, the exhaust on the car. We're also going to install a wideband, and we're going to do the first start on the car. Now, as you know, this car is on the road now, and I've been driving it with the turbo for a couple months, so I'm going to try to get the rest of these videos out to you fast. A few people have asked for updates, so thanks for watching. And if you like this video or the channel, hit the like button. And if you haven't seen the other D-Series turbo videos, go back and have a look at those as well. And the end goal here is to make a nice full-length kind of a review style driving video of the Turbo D Series Civic. So come along with me and thanks for watching. All right, it's been a couple months since I updated this last. So let's look at what I have here. Got a Turbo Smart 38mm gate. Got to the ram horn manifold. I found a used one. It was new in box, but I got it for way less than they are new. We have a Precision 5454 turbo I got from a friend, used in good shape. And then here is the downpipe that I welded up. I'll show you more details there, but right now I'm mocking up where I'm going to put my oxygen sensor. I think I'm going to put it right down here, so it's out of the way. It's not near the road. It's about 18 inches from the turbo itself, and then it's not up here, so that gives me room to run a dump tube straight down here. I got this 4-row radiator from eBay, and then I'm going to run the stock fan for now and see how that goes. And then all these silicone hoses, those are also G+, straight from eBay, and they replaced all the old 30-year-old rubber hoses I had. So it's kind of an update on the underside of this, and I'll go show you the intake manifold now. Giant mess back here of the intake manifolds. I was going to use this Y8 manifold, which is a nice piece, but I got a package deal of Honda parts from a buddy and included this really fresh Skunk 2 Pro intake manifold. So these make some good extra power when you are boosting, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. It had only been used once. It had a little bit of gasket material on it, but it had obviously never been scraped. So also a Skunk 2 big throttle body, and then I have this PLM 4-bar map sensor so I can read all the boost. I went ahead and tapped these two nippled ports so I can have push lock fittings on the car. So I'm going to run one of these to a boost gauge probably, and then boost controller. We'll see. Or I might run a 1/8 MPT off of the turbo housing for the wastegate pressure. This would go to the blow-off valve, I think. So that's kind of where I am with this. I just keep finding good deals on upgraded parts, so that's where it's going. Here's a quick update where I am. I am putting together downpipe. I put in this new 1320 3-inch full stainless exhaust, and I did zip off the end that goes to the cat and put a V-band there for my downpipe. It's been a little while since I've updated you guys, but here's how that fits. It's really mild looking compared to the bigger Gretty tip or the outrageous fart can from eBay. But up to the top side here, I have the, I put that in place to mock up the downpipe. I've got a steel flange on there, and then here's some stainless steel that I'm playing with. It's going to do something like this. There's not enough room for a V-band, and so it's going to be something like that. But there will be a 45 off of this pipe that goes to straight to a flex and then to the V-banded 3-inch catback system. So I'm kind of putting that together right now. All right, so oxygen sensor hole drilled out with a step bit. So this bung fits in there nice and perfect. So now we're gonna burn it in place. Finnegan's gonna stand here with his mask on, and I'm gonna burn it in. Yeah, my welds kind of suck here. This is my first downpipe ever, so it's strong but ugly, and that'll be under the car, so it's fine. We do have a V-band on this end, and then a flex pipe in the middle. This is 3-inch from the turbo all the way to the back of the car. Alright, it is burned in. Another incident-free day of welding.
Okay. Now
It's not that pretty, but I'm getting better every time I try, so that's gonna hold. Ready to go. I have this AEM fuel rail, and then I have fuel injector dynamic 880 injectors, FID 880s. I'm running the stock fuel system for now. I mean, these are said to be up, 500 horsepower plus, so I put a new filter in at least. This is all hooked up, so not as pretty on the firewall, but I'm more form over function right now. I want to get this thing on the road and have some fun this fall. And so yeah, we're using stock fuel lines. Should flow plenty of fuel to make the party happen here. So I'm going to get that in. I've got coolant hoses ready for the throttle body, and then the IAC valve in the back. So I think we're good to go. I've got oil pressure gauge ran into the cabin, and then I have oil line for the turbo. So we have pressurized oil to turbo. So all that's hooked up already, so it should be fairly easy. I'm just trying to do all that stuff before I put this intake in the way. All right, next we're just going to go ahead and tighten up the exhaust and get this car back down on the ground.
Is it okay if I come closer?
Does it look better back on the ground?
Yep.
All right. Nice to have this thing back on the ground.
Now we don't have to do as much work on it.
Alright, today we're going to install this AEM wideband gauge. A few simple connections. We've got our hot wire. We're going to run this white wire to the ECU. I'll show you where that goes. And then the ground, we're going to find a good chassis ground. Possibly the thermostat housing. I've got to work on figuring that out now. Let's get this going. Now we're also going to take the CD player out. It is a vintage 90s Kenwood, and we're going to put these 3 gauges in. So there will be a boost, an oil pressure, and that wideband gauge, and they're going to be angled towards the driver like this. Let's get going on that. The old butter knife trick here. Just a little bit of quick wiring. The wideband comes with obviously the wiring from the sensor, the wideband sensor that's in the exhaust under the hood. That comes in, plugs in, However, from the back of the gauge, just to power the gauge up and get information, we have a black ground here, which I'm running to the thermostat under the hood. That's a really good ground. This white wire is going to run to D14. That's pin D14 right here. So this is where the original O2 sensor wire went, and now the wideband's going to go in here. And then finally, there's the red power wire from the back of the gauge, and that's going to run over to the key on the fuse box, just right over here. Far right port of 5. There are 5 ports in a row. I'm going to use the right one. I tested that with the voltmeter. It keys on, no problem. So that's going to run over there. And then this wideband should be good to go. All right, wires are ran. I think it works. Alright, I just set the valve lash. I had this D17 valve cover on here. I had this sitting around. This has the coil unplug provisions if I ever want to do coil unplug, but right now it's just going to be on here so I can get this thing started up. So I'm going to go ahead and put plug wires back in. And then we'll prime this engine and get it ready. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shut off the fuel pump. So I'm going to pull the fuel pump fuse, or relay I guess, and then I'm going to turn off ignition as well. We're going to crank the engine, make sure we have oil pressure on the gauge, and then plug everything back in, and then we'll do the first fire up. Really excited about it. It is 100 degrees right on the nose right now, but the sun is behind my neighbor's house now, and I think it's time to fire this thing up. So let me go get the laptop. I'm gonna get some oil, make sure everything's full, and should be ready to go. All right, I went ahead and plugged in my cable here, and I have Honda pulled up with the Bas Tune. Just a quick overview. The Bas Tune, I got it ready for the oxygen sensor in port D14, and then I went ahead and changed the fuel injectors and put the dead time in for that. And then I set the voltage and lambda conversion there, and there's some voltage offset. So what I'm going to do now is turn the ignition key to the on position. Alright, and then I'm going to go ahead and upload this tune right up here. Yay, the tune should be on the ECU now. Cool. I put my oil feed line in a bottle there just to make sure we're getting a squirt out of there. And I'm going to put a syringe of oil down here in the turbo. I'm going to go ahead and prime this engine. So oil pump should be giving us some pressure. I unplugged the distributor and I unplugged the main relay, so we're not going to get fuel to the fuel rail from the pump. So let's get going. All right, we're getting 15 pounds of oil pressure, just cranking this thing. So I think we have oil out. Let's go check and see if there's any oil in the bottle from the oil feed. Oh, holy shnikes. There's all the oil, check it. Okay, well, this is full all the way to the top. I'm glad I stopped right there. That's probably why the oil pressure was a little lower than I thought it would be. Let's hook up this oil feed and put another quart of oil in. Well, we know we're getting oil to the turbo, that's for sure. So I'll hook this back up real quick. Still a little bit low because we filled up the oil filter. As we were cranking there, I think. I'm going to go ahead and fix this big vacuum leak here too. I'm going to put a plug in this hole because I don't have a blow-off valve yet. All right, let's see if we can get a first start here. Checking for fuel leaks. No fuel leaks yet. Burping the system here. And it is spitting oil. It's just spitting oil and stuff. It's spitting oil out this valve cover. See, this should be a dipstick here. This is the G17. I have a dipstick here. So I'm getting oil spitting out when I rev it. She's breaking in, so I need to get my different valve cover on here before I drive it, or it's just going to get oil everywhere. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this episode. We had a victorious first startup. I broke in the piston rings there. No leaks. Nothing bad at all, except that valve cover. Obviously isn't the right valve cover, but my other one was at my friend Matt McCreary's shop getting the bungs welded on so I could put a nice catch can setup on that engine so I don't get oil mist blowing everywhere. And once those rings break in, you know, that engine's going to be super darn tight. So very happy not to hear any weird rattles or bumps from the engine. I just spent a lot of time and money building, and super excited to drive the car with you, and I appreciate everybody coming along for the ride with me. Thanks so much for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.